of our pay was a room and board in excuse me, an Italian restaurant. It was very excellent food. That was a big part of our pay. So we ended up being there 2 months during the summer and coming home with very little money. But at any rate, my parents did not have any experience at a school beyond 8th grade. And so when we got to high school, there was no one to tell us and give us advice on what to do. So I went through 4 years learning. I took 2 years of French and 2 years of German and some of the other courses, but nothing heading for any particular direction. They were pretty good teachers, especially the English teacher was very good. She taught us how to diagram sentences and how to speak and so on. One thing that they did do was baseball. It was a big sport in Philadelphia. There were 2 teams. The National League was the Phillies, and the American League was the Athletics. Connie Mack and the Athletics. That was the better team. They were in different leagues, of course, American and National Leagues. But the Athletics won the World Series for several years in a row, and Connie Mack was the manager, and he was an old man for all managers, and he wore a business suit, and he wore a cap, a hat, and a newspaper. And when he's out front of the dugout directing the team, he directing the people around with the newspaper, and he had a tie on and a business suit, which was unusual for any manager, but he got results. And I could still remember the names of some of the people. Bishop, I think lineup started out with Bishop, Haas, Cochran, Al Simmons, Jimmy Dykes, Mickey Cochran, and these are easy to remember back in those days because they were famous people. Lefty Grove was a famous pitcher. But we got to go to some of the games. Our school would have a bus take us down to the ballpark, and they would let us in free. We didn't have really good seats, but they were good enough for us, and it was quite an experience. So when I graduated from high school, it was a difficult time. I had to make up my mind what direction I was going to go. And I liked music, and I enjoyed playing the instrument, dance band, and classical music in the band, and march music. And so I was in the high school band, and I was fortunate enough to get to go to all-state band. And the pictures on the wall there of the all-state band, there were 175 people of us in the band. And at that time I had a baritone saxophone and played in that band. It was a great experience. We played in a private home, took us in and kept us for 2 nights. And that was in a town which halfway across the state because of people from the whole state were coming.
Hello?
Oh, Mo. Hello.
You got garbage? Right here.
Yeah, that's all I got. Thank you. Anyway, at this was out in, I forgot the name of the town, halfway across the state, so that was an experience in itself to go out there.